All right, and we are live here with Paste Happiest Hour, and I've got Bernhard from The Devil Makes Three. So good to have you here.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
So welcome to the show. We last saw each other back in January when people could travel and play music in places that weren't their home. So
Yeah, we drove there and everything. It was exciting.
so it's good to have you on the show. Um, Tell me a little bit about what life has been like now that you are back home in Vermont, and not a terrible place to be spending this, as all things considered. But what's going on in? Tell me, Brattleboro, Vermont.
Yeah, Brattleboro, Vermont is nearby where I live. I mean, it's been good it's to some degree, and also really weird. Um, like I was saying, it's there's sort of you can go anywhere, and there's no traffic, and there's no lines, and there's no people, but there's nowhere to go. So, I've been getting a lot of stuff done that I haven't been able to work on for a long time, like namely this stuff, a lot of music stuff that I haven't really had time to focus on, and like every home project that has existed on a list for like the last maybe 5 years or something like that. So yeah, trying to spend a lot of time outside.
That's good. So you're telling me one of the things you're able to do going outside is ride your motorcycle. Has that
Yeah.
kept you sane?
Oh yeah, that's like my favorite thing to do. And with no one on the roads, it's amazing. Yeah, that's definitely keeping me sane. I mean, I love it under normal circumstances, but it might be even better now.
So you're part of the Devil Makes Three. Today we've just got the Devil Making One here. Are you able to keep in touch with your compadres, write music with them? Um,
We definitely are in touch for sure, but no, we haven't really written too much music. Actually, a lot of people have asked, why we haven't done any live streaming stuff with the band, but we don't live in the same place, so it's difficult with the restrictions. We can't actually be in the same room. I guess it's possible that we could play like via Zoom or something
yeah,
along those lines, but so far we haven't. We're definitely all in touch, and checking in with each other and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no way for us all to be in the same room at the same time right now.
well, I am looking forward to hearing you play some music on your own today. So, what are we going to hear from you first today?
I'm gonna play a song called "I Can't Find You." Yeah, and yeah, it's a song off the new record, and I'm gonna try my best to play it slow.
All right.
I've got a racetrack running through my brain. Don't know the driver who's moving in the passing lane, and I can feel a crash is coming. Heartbeats at a time. Backseat driving, trying to stay between the lines. If I can't find you, I can find whiskey. Take me to the river downtown. If I can't find you, I can find whiskey. Take me to the river downtown. Let the weight of the water take my troubles on down. It's like the wind, it has stopped blowing, took us from town to town. If we knew where we were going, we'd be there by now. And I know that you'll find another, I know that'll make you smile. Give my regards to the next guy, talk to him for a little while. But if I can't find you, I can find whiskey. Take me to the river downtown. If I can't find you, I can find whiskey, take me to the river downtown. Don't like the way I'm living, don't come around. Heavy lines and loose connections, something just quietly died. I sure ain't no doctor, but the good Lord knows I've tried. And if you need forgiveness, not the one to ask. Sign the points to no return, it's long since slid on past. And if I can't have you, I can have whiskey. Take me to the river downtown. And if I can't have you, I can have whiskey. Take me to the river to drown. Take me out the water, put me under the ground. Put me under the ground.
All right. Thanks so much.
Welcome.
Well, Pete, the band's last album was 2018, but you've got a solo album in the works. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with that, what that's going to be like?
Yeah, I finally got a chance to put it out. I actually recorded it sort of a while ago, but due to the touring schedule, I didn't really have time to put it out or finish the record or get it mastered or anything like that. So due to this, non-self-imposed break that we've got going on, I had time to get it all together. And yeah, it's a collection of songs, mostly about a lot of my friends that I grew up with, some of whom passed on and some of whom are still with me. And yeah, so it's sort of an album about friendship and some people that I've lost and some people that I'm really happy to still have. So
That's fantastic. Well, it's called Harmony, Ascension, Division, and people can check it out anywhere you can find music, Spotify, anywhere like that. So when you were making this album, when you were going into a studio, how did you approach musically, sort of being on your own, doing this with your name on it? What felt different this time?
Well, I guess the songs were a lot more personal, definitely than a lot of the songs I write for the band. In the band, I do some character writing, and stuff like that. And this was just sort of a much more personal album, and sort of an album about a lot of people that that I knew personally, and that I from my past and from when I was growing up around here. And some of it's musical history, people I played with, people I just hung out with, people I learned from, some of my guitar mentors and stuff like that as well. So I'd say it's a way more personal record, but also I wanted to make an album that was really stripped down to the point where it was just kind of guitar. There's a little bit of bass and some backing vocals, and that's about it. So I've been wanting to do an album that was a little bit more like what I used to do when I first started playing music.
Mm-hmm. Well, you moved back to Vermont several years back. Does it feel like Vermont is coming through this record to you? Does it feel like a Vermont album more than what you've done in the past?
100%. Yeah, I'd say it's the most Vermont album I've ever made. Harmony, Ascension, Division. The name of the album, Harmony, is actually a parking lot in the town that I grew up in, where me and my friends spent almost all of our time when we were kids. And luckily for me, during that time, a local photographer came and took pictures of all of us. This was in the early '90s, and that's the photographs that are in the record. So yeah, it's definitely very much about Vermont. Harmony is the parking lot that we spent most of our time in when we were growing up, and then Ascension and Division is a corner that I lived on in Olympia, Washington, and it was one of the first houses I lived in with a group of kids, a bunch of other musicians.
So when I think of bluegrass music, Americana music, Vermont is not the first state that comes to mind. how did you fall in love with this kind of music growing up where you did?
Well, I mean, from my experience has been kind of different in that, I mean, definitely not bluegrass. I'd say there's one bluegrass band in the state of Vermont. but in terms of folk music and traditional music, there's actually a lot of it in Vermont. And so I grew up with my dad playing, folk music. He was my first guitar teacher. My aunt was a performing like folk musician. There was a lot of traditional music as well. A lot of folk music. So, I mean, Vermont has a tradition of, I'd say, singer-songwriters, folk music, Americana. Definitely not so much bluegrass or country.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the second song you're going to play for us today?
What am I going to play? I think I'd like to play a song called Lightning. Hungry and howling, I sure need to get high. Ours is never the question why. Oh, only to wait, just to run and to drive. If we're truly lucky, we could say that we survived. I'm skipping like a stone across the water tonight. Can't slow down for no street light, because the water underneath me is deep and dark. It's looking like rain and I'm writing in chalk. Well, they may say I was an easy mark. Never put my hands up in front of my heart, but I love this world. Just like fire loves a spark, I want to leave this world. Just like lightning leaves the dark. Just like it leaves the dark. Well, now death will never kiss me, 'cause she can't stand the taste. I run those circles around her while she's walking in place. I could beat her out of focus when my wheels hit the ground. I'll ask her husband how he feels about her sleeping around. I got 5 words for you, can I hold your hand? Yes, I got my secrets, I ain't running no scams. Well, I know the world is watching and I don't give a damn. I wanna bomb your jungle like it was Vietnam. Well, they may say I was an easy mark. Never put my hands up in front of my heart, but I loved you, girl. Just like fire loves a spark, and yes, you left me, girl. Just like lightning leaves the dark. Just like it leaves the dark. Well, if you had a purpose for me, then it's good you forgot. No, you stopping bullets after guns have been shot. I know you're trying to make some money off these lies that you bought. Looks like I'm more in the business of untying the knot. Well, I send my sacrifices to burn out in the street. Wanna make you sweat harder than New Orleans heat. I wanna leave your head ringing like a solid bronze bell, listening to the ocean like your ear was in a shell. Well, they may say I was an easy mark. Never put my hands up in front of my heart, but I love this world. Just like fire loves a spark, I wanna leave this world. Just like lightning leaves the dark. Just like it leaves the dark. Just like lightning leaves the dark. Just like it leaves the dark. Thank you.
Oh, that's so great. So that's the last song on your new album.
That's right, yeah.
Were you able to play some shows? I know this thing came out just in April, right in the middle of all of this. So no celebratory shows to be able to...
This is my first show.
All right. Well, we're honored.
Yeah, no, I wish, but it wasn't possible. No, it wasn't possible. I played a couple of songs out just for fun, but I didn't get the chance to get a show.
I know that's tough. I know a lot of people I've been talking to on this show have just released albums, and it's just such a weird time when normally what you would do now is go in front of an audience and put these songs out there and get reaction from the crowd and that very special uh, relationship from the stage that all musicians have. So, um, are you finding yourself drawn to just picking up the guitar, playing these songs for family, just keeping them in your
Yeah,
heart there?
yeah, definitely. I'm playing them a lot, I mean, in the same way that I would be almost like if I was preparing to go out
Uh
and,
huh.
and play them on a real tour. Yeah, I've been doing that a lot. And I mean, I have a lot of time to do that. So, I mean, it's a great time to be, playing music and writing music and sort of woodshedding. And I think that's like what every musician I know is up to these days. Like
Uh huh.
if you look on the internet, it's basically like people broadcasting their practicing and
Uh huh.
their songwriting and everything they're working on. Yeah,
So, you said now is not really a time for songwriting for you. It's because you just have this new collection of songs. Um, are you connected with other musicians? Do you feel still kind of like that community of musicians is being there for each other, even if it's just Zoom calls like this?
yeah, to some degree. In fact, I've talked to some people I haven't talked to in years too. I think finally, especially for touring musicians, people like have the time to pick up the phone and get in touch. And I've had some musicians, send me music to work on and collaborate with, that we've never had the chance to do that because there hasn't been the time to do it. So yeah, I mean, I still feel pretty in touch. I mean, my community in general is musicians, and artists for sure. So yeah, I mean, as much as I can, I got to say, I mean, as much as anybody, I really miss, you don't know how great it is to be in a room with people, playing music until you can't do it anymore. You know what I mean?
I know, and I think about folk musicians, bluegrass musicians, particularly, where so much of the culture is everybody sitting around, even if it's at a festival, backstage, everybody picking up their instruments, or late at night after the crowds have gone home. But just that sitting around in a circle, picking up instruments, playing whatever song somebody wants to start, and
It's
that's
kind
just
yeah.
hard to do right now.
That's kind of the best part, actually. I mean, usually, like, with playing with a band, you play on the stage and then you play afterwards, or sometimes you play before too. And I mean, for me, the best part is sort of just when you're sitting around playing and it's informal. Yeah, and yeah, you totally take that for granted. I mean, that was our pre-show, post-show routine for every
Yeah.
show I've ever played. Whether it's by myself or with a band or whatever. And yeah, you really take it for granted. It's a great thing to be able to do. But I mean, like so many things. I mean, I think for me personally, I'm just realizing there's so many things that I do that are great that I can no longer do. That maybe I didn't really appreciate quite as much as I should have.
Have you thought about what it's going to feel like when you can finally get back up on a stage and have a crowd
Yeah,
gathered?
God, it's going to be a really strange feeling. It's almost gonna be like doing it for the first time or something. Because I mean, for me, I've been traveling and playing live for almost like 16 years. Um, so yeah, I mean, taking this amount of time off, without planning to is like unheard of. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting experience. Might get stage fright even.
Yeah. Well, one thing we ask everybody on the show is what is that piece of art, whether it's just a dumb TV show or a book or an album that you're going to, what is keeping you entertained right now, keeping you sane right now, keeping
Hmm.
you occupied?
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of reading. Yeah, definitely reading has been the main thing, but I've been listening to a lot of records too, and I've been actually getting a chance to listen to records that I bought a long time ago and never had time to listen to. And I've actually been listening to a lot of Little Walter, and I've been listening to Pablo Casals, and I've been listening to Django Reinhardt. I mean, really, I'm just kind of going through my record collection and picking albums at random and seeing if it was a good idea to buy it or if I made a mistake. So
So,
that's been really fun.
so I have to ask somebody who's a guitarist, when you put on Django Reinhardt, do you have to pick up the guitar and say, see, hey, can I do this thing?
I know that I can't do it. I don't even have to pick up the guitar. Yeah, but no, I mean, of course, everybody always wonders, you know what I mean? And I've seen people try and do it, his way as well. Of course, you've got to wonder. It does sort of blow your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine even attempting. I'm a hack guitarist. I can't play what you play. So, um, yeah, putting on Django Reinhardt as a guitarist, that must be an interesting experience.
Yeah, it's inspirational. Or humbling might be another
Humbling.
word.
Well, you're pretty fantastic at the guitar yourself. So,
Thank you.
well,
Thank you.
cool. Well, I want to bring up. We just started this week a, a partnership with Sweet Relief Musicians Fund, and I'm seeing that a couple of our viewers here already been donating to that. So thank you all very much if you're watching. Um, I know this is not a time where a lot of people can give because so many people are struggling. So those of you who can, it's so much appreciated, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the show. But I really appreciate you being here. It was so much fun having you in the Atlanta studio not that long ago.
That
And
was great. Yeah, I'd love to come back.
yeah, and I will say for our viewers, after this is done, you should go out and check out the Pace sessions with the Devil
Yeah,
Makes Three in the Atlanta studio.
yeah, that was
And when all of this is done, you'll have to come back.
most definitely. We'll be there.
Cool. Well, I'm going to bring on our second guest for the day, Dylan Baldi here. There he is. Hey, Dylan.
Oh,
Hey,
hey.
Dylan.
I'm watching this on my phone.
That's awesome.
Weird. It's way
Yeah,
behind
there's
on my.
there's a little delay, so sorry for the catch you off guard there.
That's okay. I'll get over it. Hello.
Hello. So, this is the part of the show where we like to just toast whoever the hell we feel like toasting that day. And for today, um, because we're just starting out with Sweet Relief here, I would like to toast all the musicians who were supposed to be on the road right now, who maybe were counting on that to pay rent, to pay medical bills, to pay whatever, and all of the roadies, the tour managers, everybody who's just in the music industry who's just getting their ass kicked by this right now. Sweet Relief does such great work, and I want to toast them and all the musicians. So
Yeah,
cheers.
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 So Pete, who else should we be toasting today?
Let's toast. Let's like you said. Let's toast everybody who works in the hospitals right now, and in the urgent care units and stuff like that. Some of whom are friends of mine, and yeah, let's just give a cheers to all those people who really have absolutely, no choice but to be at work and be doing what they're doing and trying to save people's lives while I'm sitting here, in my attic playing guitar. Cheers.
Cheers to them. All right, who else? Dylan, who should we be toasting today?
You guys took care of the serious ones. I don't know. I think Grimes and Elon Musk's kid is going to need some help.
You too.
So it's probably best that we toast to.
Can you tell us the child's name? Can you
I don't.
pronounce
It's
that?
like a bounty hunter from Star Wars name. I have no idea how to say that
I know
name.
there's an A12 in it. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's like one of those AE like
Yeah, I don't
Encyclopedia
know.
Britannica looking words. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce that character.
It's an insane looking name, and that kid will need some help. So this is for him.
Cheers.
All right, yeah.
Cheers to the child.
Best of luck.
That's great. Well, Pete, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks
And
for having me.
look forward to seeing you in Atlanta when this is all done.
All right, we'll go straight there.
All right, I'm going to be waiting.
All right, great.
See you, Pete.
Cheers, guys.
Later.
So, Dylan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah. How about you?
Doing good. So you are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia.
That I am. Yeah.
How
Love
are
it.
things there? Total lockdown, not leaving the apartment? Are you getting out and seeing
Yeah,
nature?
I haven't really left at all. Things seem like they're the same here as they are in most places. Yeah. There's a donut place by me that just sort of started serving donuts again to go, so that's exciting. That's
It's
the
little
big
things,
news.
man.
It is. Well, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. That's about it. Yeah. Where are you? You're in Atlanta?
I'm in Atlanta, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. How's that?
Well, we are weirdly back open for business because the governor said that we needed to be, and that cities had no control to stop that. So,
Yeah.
but I'm mostly staying put and
I
trying
would.
to avoid it all.
Yeah.
I have been getting out in nature a little bit. This one thing that's come of this is just discovering how many like little weird trails are within the city here in Atlanta. So been trying at least once a week to go walk and see nature and try to avoid people without masks and stuff.
Yeah, that's really nice. Getting outside is really nice. But yeah, Atlanta, I've only ever been to like the Masquerade, which is in a
Ah.
horrible part of town. Even the old one was in a part of town where I was like, I don't know what is going on here.
I wouldn't call it a horrible part of town. I don't know. Maybe
Horrible in terms
depending
of
on
like,
how long ago you played it.
well,
It's
horrible
like-
in terms of like, there's nothing that I want to do around there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
there's
like
more there
like,
now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
Or the
new
old one. The new one is like right near our office, and it's more downtown, so it is.
Yeah, the new one is downtown, and by the time we get there, everything's like closed.
Everything's closed. Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. The old one, that whole area is kind of lots of stuff going in now.
Is that
It's
different
actually
now?
gotten a lot cooler. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't even know where that was.
Yeah.
I would go back there, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I grew up going to the Masquerade and just praying the floor didn't cave in, and
Yeah, we had like a really quiet. We had Riley Walker. I'm sure you know him. He opened for us at that show, but above us was like Tech Nine, that like Juggalo rapper. So like during Riley's like quiet solo acoustic set, there was just like insane bass coming through the ceiling.
yeah.
It wasn't.
Purgatory, man. Well named.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, you're gonna play us some music today. What are you gonna play first for us?
I was gonna do two songs. I have a really old Cloud Nothing song that I have not played in a while. But first, I think I might do this song by Greg Sage from the Wipers. It's from one of his like solo records. It's called "Sacrifice for Love."
Cool.
Yeah. Should I do
Yeah. Go ahead for the first
Oh,
one. Yeah.
it? Cool. Yeah. I have a little loop pedal here. That's my exciting addition
All right.
to the solo performance. Yeah. Well, I've been walking sideways. You know they say it's okay this way. You see, they don't give no guarantees. but I feel lost beside me now. It's a funny thing, love at night. Will I be washed aside? You tell me it's okay this way. You don't wanna worry now. Will I feel lost beside me now? It's a funny thing, love at night. And you sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice for love. Will I be washed aside? You tell me it's okay this way. You don't wanna worry now. Well, I feel lost beside me now. It's a funny thing, love and life, when you sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice the love. The cool thing about a loop pedal is you can fade out.
That's so great.
You can fade out live. Thank you.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's fun.
So, are you able to keep in touch with the rest of the band and feel like things are still moving along? I mean, it's been 2018 was the last album. Are you writing songs with folks and getting stuff recorded?
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. And me and our drummer during this whole thing have been like sending stuff back and forth to each other. So we have a lot of little songs and like demos kind of built up for whenever we can exist together in the same space again. So that's kind of keeping me occupied at least. Yeah.
So you've been doing this 9 years now, and you were pretty young when you started Cloud Nothings. How has that journey been for you, and looking at the band now as opposed to, as you know, how old were you when you started the band?
I was 18.
18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now actually I've been very nostalgic this last month or so because I've been literally in like one room just thinking about things all day. Yeah. So I'm just kind of thinking about like, oh, I used to be able to go here. And I remember when I went to that place, and like it's just like stupid little things. So it's been kind of nice actually revisiting the last like 9 years of the band in my head.
And also on tape, because you just released a bunch of live recordings on Bandcamp.
ton, a lot. Yeah, 27 shows that we kind of had.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Jason, our drummer, kind of put all that together. He just happened to have all these recordings, and then we found a few from other people we know and a couple of radio shows that we've done. And it really is like a little step by step. You kind of watch the band change, and the songs we're playing become different. It's cool. I like having all that. I haven't listened to all of them. That's too much of myself.
A little too much nostalgia.
A little too much nostalgia. Nobody needs that. Yeah, it's for the fans.
So, do you think is there another album coming soon? Do you have any idea what timing would be like with all the songs that you've written?
Yeah, no, next year is the goal for that. Yeah, we were hoping, we were aiming for this year at one point, but especially now, that just seems insane and like almost pointless. I feel bad for anybody who puts out a record this year because it already kind of feels like when you put out a record, it just disappears, just the way the internet works. Mm-hmm. But now if you can't even tour and you just put out a record, like, where does it go? Yeah, who knows?
A lot of the folks that we've had on Happiest Hour are on because they've got a record to promote. So, I've had that conversation quite a few times where it's just, it sucks that you don't get to get up on stage and see what the reaction is, or just to put it out there in the world and tour it to different cities. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it sucks for everybody. Like, it sucks for bands that don't have new albums out right now that would have been on tour and going around. Well, looking forward to the new record. Love the last one.
Thanks.
And would love to hear another song. What are you going to play next?
I will play for you a song called "Forget You All the Time." That's from one of the first Cloud Nothings things back when it was just me. Yeah, this was like the self-titled album. So that's 2010, 2011, one of those years. But yeah, so I haven't played this in a long, long time. But here it goes. I'm alright. I just forget you all the time. You were right. I should have given you a sign. Talk at all. You never talked enough with me. Love enough. You weren't love enough for me. Well, I know just what you mean, but I could never relate. 'Cause I don't know how to seem like I care enough to wait. I know just what you mean, but I could never relate. 'Cause I don't know how to seem like I care enough to wait. I'm alright. I just forget you all the time. You were right. I should have given you a sign. Talk at all. You never talked enough with me. Love enough. You weren't in love enough with me. Well, I know just what you mean, but I could never relate. 'Cause I don't know how to seem like I care enough to wait. I know just what you mean, but I could never relate. 'Cause I don't know how to seem like I care enough to wait. Like I care enough to wait. Like I care enough to wait. I got care enough to wait. Yay.
Yeah. Love that song. Thanks
Nice.
for playing. Thanks for reaching way back into the catalog there.
Back in the arc. Well, I told you I've been feeling like nostalgic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's a
I've always
time
liked
for that.
Yeah,
So, speaking of nostalgia, I saw you started a blogspot blog.
I did. I haven't updated it in a couple weeks, which is bad. But
Yeah, you said you were going to do that weekly, and you
I
haven't.
lied. I know. Well, I don't. You know, the first post, a lot of people saw it. Second post, not so many. Third post, nobody looked at that post. Yeah, so I was like, I see where this blog is headed. Yeah.
Well, the one I looked at had me listening to Scottish indie pop, and so that was fun. I'd never
Great.
heard of Remember Fun, and I was around back then listening to music like that. I mean, it sounded like high school to me. So
Yeah.
that was
Dude,
fun, discovering some new band that I didn't
You should
know.
check out the whole Remember Fun record. I think it's called like it's something about trains. I forget what, but that
I
whole
don't
record.
remember, but I listened to most of it today.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I just put it on, and I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Dude, the lyrics are insane. It's like the most depressing, like angsty lyrics over just that like happy music. Yeah, I really like that album. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my next question, which we ask everybody on here, which is, what is the piece of art, whether that's a TV show, a book, other people's albums, that is keeping you entertained and occupied and just sort of feeding the soul right now, or just distracting you from the rest of this?
I've been going pretty heavy on just like movies in general, but yeah, I did watch me and my girlfriend every time we cook for every meal now because we have to essentially. Yeah, so we started watching an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm with every meal, and we've made it through the entire series actually at this point. So that was very helpful to have a little funny thing to watch a couple times a day. You know, that show is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you the best in all of this. Stay safe, and can't wait to hear the new record next year.
Yeah,
and definitely next time you're in Atlanta, coming to the Masquerade, and don't have anything else to do that at night because there's nothing going on. No, we'd love to have you in the Pace Studio and do this face to face, and
that'd be great. I think we were supposed to last time, but we were on tour with like a tour bus band, and they always book shows that are just so far apart from each other.
Yeah,
if they can drive overnight, but we can't because we're in a little band, so we had to leave town like super early. But yeah, we should do it next time. That'd be fun.
That would be fantastic. Well, thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you, man. All right, see ya.
See ya.